going on, everybody? Jared Atkins coming to you from the Laundromat. It is a very dreary, doomy, and gloomy Wednesday morning. Man, we're already into Wednesday this week. I used to think my parents were full of shit when I was a kid about time. It only gets faster as you get older. You need to slow it down a little, kid. But man, I tell you what, with each passing day, with each passing year, it's like, as you've heard me say before, we're all one day closer inevitably to death. And death is something that's weighing on my mind. We lost Jay Briscoe last night in a car accident that took the life of another person. Maybe injured some people. He was... Okay, so for those of you that don't know, pro wrestling is a big thing with me. Obviously, I get a pro wrestling reference in every episode of every show. And now even on my second podcast, I find a way to work a pro wrestling reference in on a podcast dealing with being a better human being and Freemasonry. But, excuse me. I love tag team wrestling. I love pro wrestling, but I've always loved tag team wrestling. And I'm a fan of so many different tag teams. And in 35 years of age, and I have memories of wrestling for probably now 32, 31 years. So from when I was 3 or 4 years old. I've seen a lot of great tag teams. I've seen a lot of great tag team wrestling. But there's only a handful of teams out there that I've kind of hitched my wagon to. And it's like, this is going to pull the horse of my tag team wrestling fandom. 3 of those teams being PG-13, Jamie Dundee and Wolfie D. The Hart Foundation, Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart. And then the Briscoe brothers, the Briscoes. Jay and Mark. Dim Boys. 13-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Winners of the Crockett Cup this past year in 2022. Completed probably what will go down as the greatest trilogy of tag team wrestling matches in history. Their battles with FTR. And, we lost Jay Briscoe yesterday. In a tragic car accident. My phone had just went off. I had got a notification. As you guys know, I haven't contributed a lot in the last 8, 9, 10 months, but as you guys know that I do sometimes write and cover things for bodyslam.net. I know the guy that founded bodyslam.net. I've known him for 19 years. He's a good friend of mine. Cassidy Haynes, known this cat 19 years. And I come on board, he let me, sometimes I do a little writing for him, editorials, op-eds, news covering. And although I'm not as active as I was when I started last year, I'm still in the group chat, and the message came in. I'm trying to confirm, but Jay Briscoe might have passed away in a car wreck. And just immediately got cold chills. And throughout the night, last night, things were coming into group chat and things were going out across social media. And everywhere I looked on Facebook and Twitter last night, it was something about Jay Briscoe, Jay Briscoe, Jay Briscoe. And I don't really know what to say. You guys know professional wrestling and the hold it has on me and how much I love it and everything. And I always reference I can never remember his name, the NWA fan from the NWA convention in the mid-2000s. It's still real to me, damn it! Well, that's sometimes how I feel. Sometimes it feels like it's still real to me, damn it. And but at the end of the day, these are real people behind characters. And these people have real families. They lead real lives. From everything I've seen about people, that was a dumb thing to say. everything I've read from people posting and sharing information is that Jay Briscoe was a tremendous father. He was a great husband. He was a great brother. He cared about the business. He always wanted to help people. He always wanted to give back to the business of professional wrestling. And we have lost a great ambassador for the sport. We have lost one of the, and if you want to talk about, if you want to talk about inside the ring stuff and what goes with it, we have lost one of the best promos in the business. Because Briscoe brothers promos were just delighted. You know, I've told you guys in various episodes, a reminder, you want some good entertainment, go Google Ric Flair 1980s promos. Go Google, hop in your Google machine and go check out Briscoe promos, old Ring of Honor Briscoe promos, or their stuff from their time in Game Changer Wrestling. And, you know, just, it really breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart. And my hope for you listening, if anybody on this show's ever give a damn about what I care about, and you guys ever, and for those of you listening, if you guys have ever checked out anything I've ever told you to check out, and, you know, if you guys are like, you know, he always talks about wrestling, I'm going to check out wrestling today for the first time. Find a streaming service. Probably going to have to use YouTube for most of it. Find Briscoe's stuff. Jay and Mark Briscoe. You're not going to regret it. Chances are you're going to see something that you probably shouldn't have seen, or you've never seen before, or whatever the case may be. But you're going to be entertained. And you're going to be left with a smile or in shock. Whatever, what have you. But, rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. 38 years of age. He's behind a wife and children. A brother. And a legion of fans across the world. This hurts. You know, I've often talked about I think in the past in some episodes, how when famous people and celebrities die, sometimes it affects you differently because, you know, they're everything we're not. They're famous people. They're celebrities. They're pro athletes. They're musicians. They're all these things that we're not because we're normal, everyday, get up, go to work, come home, go to bed, get up, go to work people. These are people that we've always inspired and dreamed to be like because they live the glamorous life, the fame. They have the money. They don't have to struggle for their money and all this stuff. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So when they die, sometimes it affects you differently. Sometimes it doesn't bother you at all. Some hurts. Some do hurt. When Mac Miller passed away, that hurt. Famous person, celebrity, platinum selling artist, that hurt because Mac was one of my favorites to listen to. This hurts. Losing Jay Briscoe sucks. And as per usual with these episodes that are recorded when I'm here at the Laundromat, I never have a formula down or nothing. The Laundromat episodes were always just record and roll. But I knew I wanted to say something. I know I know a lot of you probably do not care. And that's okay. You don't have to like the same things that I like. But I'm going to use this show to air out and get something off my chest. Anyways, rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. Thank you for the memories. Rest in peace. Let's move forward a little bit. Try to, or I might start getting a little choked up now. Let's talk. You know what? Let's talk a little wrestling. I've been dying to talk wrestling. I put another Facebook post out about a wrestling podcast. I have all the equipment. I have the production know-how. I need a co-host. I've been saying this for a year and a half now. Eventually, I'm going to just start doing it myself. But I need a co-host. I do. I want to talk some wrestling. That's the whole reason there's podcasts is out here. I started podcasting because I want to talk wrestling. And then Kurt said, let's do a podcast together. I'll talk sports with you, and it led from there. And now I've got the second podcast going, that Other Masonic Podcast. That's what it's called. Check it out if you want to hear me talk about what I talk about, or when you're always seeing me post on my personal Facebook page about Freemasonry. But I'm ready let somebody get with me. Let's talk some pro wrestling. Eventually I'm going to do it myself. The very first podcast, the pro wrestling podcast, didn't pan out. We put out one episode in the fall of 2021, and then the other two guys changed, something come up, they couldn't commit anymore. I didn't know what else to do, so I deleted the episode. That's what I did. I'm supposed to have another podcast this take off. Been in talks for months with a guy who is a independent pro wrestling promoter out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Good guy. I've known him on Facebook for 10, 15 years now. But he's having trouble with his schedule and my schedule, and I'm just throwing this out here. If there's anybody who wants to talk wrestling, hit me up. Because there's a lot to talk about in wrestling. Vince McMahon's back, and this has been a whole nother fucking fiasco. I could make hours upon hours upon hours of tape about this. The supposed sale of the company that's going down, and I'm 35 years old. Vince was already at the helm of power when I was born in 87. Basically, this thing's been around my entire life. For my entire life, Vince has been in power. Whatever year he bought from his father in the 80s, then it all changed with Hogan, winning the belt from the Sheik in the Garden in 84. And, I was born in August 87. They were already off and running. Hogan was still dominating the world because March 87 was WrestleMania 3, Pontiac Silverdome, Michigan, 93,000 and change. Hogan versus Andre, the irresistible force meeting the immovable object. So fast forward 4 or 5 months to August 87, I'm born. So yeah, Vince has been in control of this motherfucker my entire life. That's what I'm telling you. I don't think this company's going to sell. And there's so much talk about that. There was the bomb scare that the internet exploded, and I bit into it as well. The whole Saudi Arabian deal, where they thought the company was going to sell to Saudi Arabia, and it still might. It very well still might. There's a lot of people involved in this. There's a lot of moving parts. I don't think the company should sell. It's been in the power of the McMahon family. I'm 35 years old. I keep saying that. I'm sorry to keep saying that, by the way. It's just me trying to put a timeline and things in my head while I'm talking to you. I was 13 years old, 12 years old when they took the company public in the fall of 1999 on the stock market. I remember that. I was in the 6th grade. The New York Stock Exchange, they took the company public. Maybe that wasn't the best idea, but hey, it gave them an influx of cash that the company desperately needed. I don't think there's any denying that the company needed that kind of money. I mean, they were still in the middle of the Monday Night Wars, but by the fall of 99, they had been in power. They'd pretty much taken control of the ratings and dominated for almost a year at that point. Now, one thing I will say, there is rumors that whoever buys the company is going to take it private, that it's going to be coming off the stock market, which maybe is a good thing because when you're a public company, publicly traded company, all that's worried about is public image. And, you know, the wrestling business being the wrestling business, some of the things you say and do in the ring and your promos maybe aren't the best things to be doing in publicly traded companies. And I don't know, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I thought maybe I did, but for those of you that have absolutely fuck all idea what I'm talking about, but it seems like it's at some point semi-interesting, get in your Google machine and go check out WWE sale. Vince has come back. He's back into power. After he retired, the sexual allegations last year and everything, somebody convinced him into stepping away, which was probably the right call. He completely retires, steps away from the company. Now he's back into power. He brought George Barrios with him. George was George was always okay. George kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Listen to me, rubbed me the wrong way, like I'm sitting in the fucking corporate boardroom at Stamford, Connecticut with him. Anyways, he brought George back with him and Michelle. I can't remember Michelle's last name, but she was a long-term player for him as well. By player, I mean in the company, not a wrestler. But he's back into power, and he's looking to sell the company. And I have a buddy of mine, Travis. Travis, if you're listening, you're an idiot. Travis texted me 2 or 3 weeks ago when this happened, and he said, quote, "This is what happens when you piss Vince McMahon off. The Wall Street Journal should have kept their fucking mouth shut, and none of this would have been happening." This was going on during the reports of the supposed sale to Saudi Arabia. Travis's viewpoint being that, for those of you that's trying to connect the dots, the Wall Street Journal broke the story of Vince McMahon paying millions of dollars in hush money to a couple of these women. Go back and check out multiple Weeknight Chronicle episodes from this past summer, back in May, June, July-ish. That's where we talk about a lot of this in depth. But Travis's point of view was that the Wall Street Journal breaking these reports about Vince McMahon having these, again, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think any woman had been, sexually assaulted. I shouldn't say that. To the best of my knowledge, these women were all paid. I want to retract that. These women were all paid for what happened to them. Now, it was reported that some were doing it because they were told that they could receive a higher position in the company. Some were doing it because Vince left them no choice. Whatever the case might be, these women were compensated for what happened. There was non-disclosure agreements signed and millions and millions of dollars of money and on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And the Wall Street Journal uncovers this. It goes public. This is a publicly traded company. It looks bad in the public eye. Somebody gets in Vince's inner ear, probably his daughter and her husband, Triple H, and Shane, and his wife Linda's like, "It's probably time to go bye-bye. Let's go ahead and retire back to the Cayman Islands, honey. Let's go." Vince is now back trying to sell the company. Travis's viewpoint was the Wall Street Journal should have kept their fucking mouth shut. None of this would have never happened. Vince is only selling because you guys made him retire. That's what Travis said. Travis, I love you. You're a fucking moron. That's a fucked up thing to say that, this is 2023. This is, we're in the middle of a women's equality movement and a Me Too movement. And, that's just a fucked up thing to say. Like, again, I had said all summer long that Vince was a billionaire. He's rich, he's powerful, nothing's going to happen to him. You can't oust this man. And he stepped down, and now he's back to sell the company. Do I think the company sells? A year ago, if you would ask me, do I think the WWE sells? A year ago, I would have said no. Back in June, when these stories started breaking about what was going on with Vince, if you asked me if the company would have sold, I would have said no. Right now, I don't know. I can't tell you. This is uncharted territory. This is scary shit. I don't know who buys the company. I don't know who buys the company. That Saudi Arabian blood money is a real thing. You guys heard me talk about Live Golf all summer. That's Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund. That's big money. There's money involved there that goes deeper than we can ever imagine, more than we can count. Walt Disney's got money. NBC, honestly, NBC seems like the logical choice to me. World Wrestling Entertainment has always had a long-standing relationship with NBC, going back to NBC airing Saturday night's main event on network television for them. NBC purchased the WWE Network 2 years ago and added it to their Peacock subscription service, which I said I would never download, but you know what? Peacock took The Office off of Netflix, and then they had the WWE Network. I made it 6 months after the network left, and I couldn't do it anymore because I could deal with missing The Office, but I missed the WWE Network, and then here are these two things that are right here together. So, by the way, Vince McMahon's greatest contribution to professional wrestling was not WrestleMania. It was the WWE Network, which is now owned by Peacock and NBC. But I digress. Anyways, I'm about pro wrestling out already. So keep your eyes and ears open, because you're living in strange times in the world of professional wrestling. All year long last year on Twitter, in big matches and big moments and cool moments, I used the hashtag 2022, the year of pro wrestling. Put that hashtag in on Twitter, you'll find it everywhere. I put it in so many places. I'm beginning to think 2023 is going to be the year of pro wrestling, because here we are. Today is January 18th. We've already lost Jay Briscoe. Vince McMahon has already come back, tried to sell the company. Kenny Omega and the greatest professional wrestler in the world today, Will Ospreay, had probably one of the top 10 greatest matches I've ever seen in my life at Wrestle Kingdom on the 4th of January. So, I don't know how the month of January is going to end. I tell you that much. I don't know how the year's going to end, but man, we're already, wow. So, this past weekend, on Saturday, for those of you that personally know me and you see my personal Facebook page, I was in Indianapolis this past weekend on Saturday for Founders Day 2023, which is a big Masonic event every year. It's not the Grand Lodge thing I keep talking about. It's put on by Grand Lodge, but it's not the annual communications. It's not the actual Grand Lodge meeting that we go to every year in May. We set up a booth, me and Todd did, for my other show, that other Masonic podcast. And it was up there that I met a guy named Adam Nelson, who has a show with his buddies called the Taking It Too Far podcast. And I would like to give those guys a plug for all of our, for all of me and Kurt's fellow degenerates out there. If you are all about debauchery and you are a low socioeconomic peasant and a bit of a turd in real life, I suggest you check out Taking It Too Far podcast. It's another local. They are up in Kokomo, Indiana. So Kurt and I have already got kind of this deal going with After Two Beers podcast in Richmond, Indiana, who gave us a shout out on their last episode, by the way. Thank you, Dutch and Gibbler. I'd like to give a shout out, guys. Check out Taking It Too Far podcast. I've checked them out. It's a trip. It's something, but I would love to get up there and hopefully meet with those guys. So check them out again. That's the Taking It Too Far podcast up in Kokomo. I keep Kokomo entertained, and they've kept me entertained, and we will hopefully be doing a collaboration with them coming down the line as well. So I'd like to use this time now to shit on Jake Paul a little bit, if I can. I shouldn't say shit on Jake Paul, although sometimes I do. Sometimes I do give the Paul boys a little bit of heck, but it looks like we're finally going to see. It looks like we're finally going to see Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. It's going down February 25th, and of all places, Saudi Arabia. I used to want to be Bill Gates rich. Now I want to be Saudi Arabia rich. I think they got more money than Bill Gates. That public investment fund. They must have more money than Bill Gates. They got more money than Jeff Bezos. They got more money than Mark Cuban. Sorry, I was just drifting off thinking about rolling my fat ass naked in a pile of money. Sorry now you guys are having to envision my fat ass naked in a pile of money. It's not a very good. It'll be like the strip bar, credit card swipe down the butt crack. Except you'll be doing that to me with $100 bills. Hope I don't get a paper cut in the hole. Sorry guys, my intention is just, I'm still thinking about this Jay Briscoe thing. Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. But no, we're finally going to get, it looks like we're finally going to get Tommy Fury and Jake Paul. I know these guys have tried to set up fights in the past, and they've always had to cancel. But it looks like it's going to go down for sure this time, February 25th in Saudi Arabia. Of course, the bout was booked for December of 2021. Pull out August 22. Jake Paul's pulled the plug this time because Fury had travel visa issues. Now, Jake Paul, as we all know, and again, maybe I clap at him and Logan a little too hard. They're famous for being famous. That's what they're famous for. But Jake is 6-0 in the ring. Now, I know I've posed the question before that at least 3 of those victories to me were questionable. But that's just me. Excuse me, I am very tired this morning for some reason. So, who knows what happened. Fury is a few years younger than Paul, though. Tommy Fury is, he's undefeated as well, isn't he? Somebody check that for me. I'm pretty sure Tommy Fury's undefeated as well. Like 10-0, 9-0, 11-0. I'm not a very good broadcast journalism, man. Yeah, I think Fury's undefeated as well. So it will be interesting to see. Obviously, Jake will win this because, he's paid a lot of money to fix these fights. So, expect to see Jake Paul go 7-0 February 25th. That's about really all I think I have. These Laundromat episodes are usually just Seinfeld episodes. Seinfeld's a show about nothing. Laundromat Listening Files are episodes about nothing. So, guys, hug your children, hug your wives, hug your husbands, hug your boyfriends, hug your girlfriends, hug your significant others. Tell them you love them. Kiss them goodbye every time you leave the house. Kiss them goodbye every time you drop them off at work. Kiss them goodbye. Kiss them just because. Because life is forever too short. And I almost teared up last night with this Jay Briscoe news, because I'm gonna start to move towards Bill. We talk a lot about you, Briscoe. You them boys, 13-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, championships all across the world. You were a former 2-3-time Ring of Honor World Champion. But anyways, I seen a video that was shared across social media in the hours after news about Jay's passing. It was a video of him and his daughter. She was a cheerleader. Now, it's been reported. I haven't went and dug into the details this morning. The new update, because, of course, over the course of the night, details get updated. One of the things last night was maybe they were coming back from a cheer competition. Well, one of the videos I seen last night was Jay and his daughter. She's somewhere between 8 to 12 years old, because my middle one's 8. And they were just working on her cheer competition stuff. They were all dressed up in gear. They had the music going. They were doing the cheers and the dancing. And there was a lot of love and a lot of laughter in that room. And they were practicing. And that was a dad. That was a dad doing what he had to do for his daughter. As I sit here in this laundromat parking lot with tears in my eyes, because I think about, I've got 3 kids. My youngest 2 are girls. My girls are 8 and 4, and I sit there and think about how fucked up their lives would be if something happened to me. Because you may not have to like me, all you people listening, but I tell you who does like me, and I tell you who does love me, and that's my kids, all 3 of them. Even my son, who we're talking about girls right now. But I tell you what, I hang the stars, and I set the motherfucking moon for all 3 of my children, and I think about how bad that would hurt them to see me gone. And, man, that video last night, that got me. You can call me a soft, you can call me a bitch, whatever you want. I call it human emotion, raw human emotion. And just knowing that that's going to be one of the happiest memories of her life, is sitting there with her daddy, this great big, just tough, badass, no-nonsense professional wrestler, and he's wearing fucking bows in his long-ass dreads. He's wearing bows, and he's dancing and prancing around the living room, and they're doing her fucking cheerleading and her gymnastics and her dance routines, and they're just lost in the moment, and there's love and there's laughter in the room, and that little girl's never going to get to tell her daddy, I love you again. That little girl's not going to get her daddy to walk her down the aisle on her wedding day. That little girl's daddy ain't going to be there to see her give birth to her first child. And it's tough, man. I didn't think we'd circle back around to Briscoe again, but I want to tell everybody, just to make sure you tell everybody you love, I'm going to share something semi-personal with you. My show, Kurt's show, our show. Kurt's not here right now. Kurt's at work. I'm doing laundry. My show. I went to take the kids back about a month ago. Some random weekend about a month ago. I was taking the kids back to their moms, and usually the routine stays the same. It changes a little bit, but usually when we get back to their moms, I hit the sliding doors for the van on the back. Bentley gets out of the front seat. Briley gets out of the back driver's side. I have to go around and unbuckle Riot Grace out of her car seat because she's 4. She's got a big girl car seat. I have to unbuckle her and let her out. But usually, by the time I get around to Riot, Bentley gives me a hug and a fist bump, says, I love you, Dad. Usually, Briley will wait around because she usually wants me to walk her to the door. But on this particular day, she just, she gave me a kiss, love you, and she ran in. So it was just me and my little bitty, Riot Grace. And I don't know if she could just tell that I get sad when I take them back to their moms. I mean, I know I'm going to see them again in 4 or 5 days because I pick them up every Friday night. I have my kids overnight every Friday night on weekends that are not mine. Instead of 4 hours one night a week, we just decided a month after the divorce was final, we were going to change our own custody agreement. So instead of 4 hours midnight, or 4 hours midweek one night, I just gave up Friday nights. So since September of 2020, a month after our divorce was final, every Friday night I have them overnight. Take them back Sunday morning, or take them back Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, just whatever. And then I have them every other weekend. And I just, so it's not like I'm not going to ever see him again. I'm going to see him again in a few days, but I don't know if my little one could tell that I was tore up or not, on the inside. And she looked at me, and she's 4 years old. And she says, "Don't worry, Daddy. I'll always come back for you." She said, "I'll see you in a few days," which is usually what I tell them. I'll see you in a few days. Man, that fucked me up good. It just, I got a little teary-eyed, and she said, "It's okay, Daddy." And I said, I said, "They're happy tears, baby." It's what I told her. They're happy tears. And, I gave her a kiss, and I walked her to the door. Out come her mother, and, I started turning around and leave, and she said, "Wait, Mommy." And she ran back out and gave me one more hug, and she said, "You're my best friend, Daddy." Anyways, I'm just emotional because I always hate when I don't have the kids with me. And then this shit with Jay Briscoe last night passing away, and then seeing the video in the hours after his passing, him and his daughter. Man, that got to me. So long story short, sorry for anybody that hated this episode. I just had to get this off my chest. Circling back, because I thought we'd moved past this Jay Briscoe thing. Tell your family, tell your loved ones you love them. Don't ever hesitate to tell them you love them. My heart breaks for this family. And you know the saddest part of all, Jay Briscoe's tag team partner is his real life brother, Mark Briscoe. Today's Mark's birthday. I shit you not. Get in your Google machine and look. Mark's birthday is today. His brother passed away yesterday, a day before his birthday. And they're tag team partners. A lot of heartache in the world of professional wrestling today. That's about wraps it up there. I'm getting far too emotional to keep going. Just, I want to end the show by thanking everybody who has been a supporter of me and Kurt. I put a Facebook post out about this, yesterday or the day before, Monday. I put a Facebook post out about this Monday evening. I'm going to try to go through this real fast. I don't want to keep you guys here because I know you guys would rather be listening to anything other than me. So I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. During the lockdown that went down across this country, that 2-3 week period there, depending on where you was at, some places was 2 weeks, some places was 3, just depending on where he's at. During lockdown was the first time I really started listening to podcasts. And I binged multiple episodes from multiple different podcasts over that 3 week period. During March of 2020. That was when I decided that I wanted to get into podcasting. Well, I mean, it wasn't then. It was after COVID, I was hooked. I was listening to podcasts all the time. We get into January 2021, and I make the decision that I want to get into this and do this. And over the course of conversations at work with Kurt, I got the bright idea, man, what we're doing right here, this would be the best thing in the world to talk about. Just talking about episodes, like just what we're doing now. The thing. Oh, that's the laundry alarm. Boy, that's annoying, ain't it? I ain't got a minute yet. Just the things that we talk about during the day on the shop floor. Sports, wrestling, music, our divorces, my suicide attempt, Kurt's past problems with addiction. Like, just anything. That's what we talk about. And I better go switch along. I'll be right back, guys. But, we started this show. Kurt did it with me. We went in half all this equipment. And I never thought that it would turn into what it's turned into. And that's all because of you guys. The support we get from you guys. We've been doing the show almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in May. So, I don't know. We've been doing this show like 20 months. And it's all thanks to you guys. The support we get, the feedback we get, and the support that we, After Two Beers podcast put us on their platform. And that just gave us a chance to be part of a bigger audience. Certainly, the Richmond, Indiana area over into Ohio and down around Marion County, Indianapolis area, like their reach has been tremendous. And we can't thank them enough. So, in closing, guys, we just thank you for your continued support. You guys like us. You guys talk about us to some people. We've got devoted listeners. We've obviously our biggest amount of traction is always going to come from the state of Indiana because we're Indiana based and everybody checks out local shit. But aside from that, our next biggest markets is California is second, Ohio is third, Pennsylvania is fourth, and then we have a fifth place tie with Maryland and Georgia. So, and then of course after that it's spread out all across the country. Internationally, we're, Canada and France is our biggest ones internationally. I don't know why anybody in France want to listen to us. Oui. But anyways, guys, for Kurt Kelly, who obviously is not here, he's working. And I'm glad I do these laundromat listenings when Kurt's not around, because if Kurt would hear the shit I talk about on here, he'd tell me he's taking off the podcast. He don't want to do it anymore because he thinks I just ramble bullshit, which I can tell him I just ramble bullshit when I'm on the mic with you all the time anyways. I just sell it to you good enough, you buy it. But anyways, guys, Kurt Kelly, I'm Jared Atkins. This was a Laundromat Listenings episode of Steel Toes and Scoreboards. Stay tuned. We're going to try, because like I said, December was a busy month and January is going to finish out being a busy month. We're going to try to do a Weeknight Chronicles episode tomorrow night, Thursday, the 19th. It may or may not happen. If not, though, have no fear. By the end of the month, we should be back with a full-length feature episode. All right, guys. I guess we will catch you guys next time.